Okay, we are now going to be looking at the Microsoft Works database. Now, before you get that look on your face, the reason we're still using this Microsoft Works is because back in the day, it was extremely available. And, ironically enough, it can still be found today in many places. And if not, contact us. We'll see if we can get one for you. But the fact is, we haven't converted this over to any other database for now because it's been so far along that we've just kept it going this way. We could recreate it in Microsoft Access or some other kind of database system, but we chose to leave it the way it is. What we're looking at here is the World War II card scenario. And the first thing you'll notice is the shapes that were provided, that we've got here. This is a card catalog type of tabbed layout. And when we move through the database, we'll start at actually number 1. You can see the tabs at the top and the title of each scenario or situation, as the case may be, with boxes on the bottom for Allied and Axis descriptions of the units involved. It's just basically an image that we put in the background, just like that. And when you tab through them, or when you move through the records of the database, the layout changes, because when they get printed, you would put this in a card catalog, physical card catalog on your desk or wherever. And that would provide you the ability of not having to use the computer all the time to grab a scenario. So one thing we probably should do, and that would be helpful to everybody, would be to summarize how involved each of these is. Now, this is a pretty involved scenario set right here. A lot of these are, again, they're old. We've had these for many years, but we've been updating this as we go along, and this one, as a matter of fact, kind of gives it away, the fact that we're in Illinois, calling it Half Day Road. The scenarios, we need to really tag them for how sophisticated or complicated they are, and to that effect, more details. We've added this field over here on the right, which will print out when you print the whole page. But you can click in here and you can type anything you want of interest to the scenario. So got a tab out of it. Okay, so then you can move through the database. You see the fields. Here's the new one that we just started to work on, which is Car Combat. Little green boxes here highlight either objectives or statements that players should know about the scenario as they are looking at it. For instance, this one here, we decided that we needed to say there's no radios for the Russian forces, except like 1/3 of their vehicles. In this particular case, the armored car game that we're going to play, they didn't have any radios. So therefore, that presents a problem. Without a radio, how do you communicate with your forces? And this just describes, or how do you manage your forces? And this basically says some restrictions of how to manage the fact that you don't have radios. Hand signals out the turret or out the hatch are about the only way the Russians, at the time, communicated. And that means that you had to have you had to have line of sight to the commander, or whoever was leading your effort, so you could know what to do next. The Germans, of course, have radios, I think, pretty frequently, often, and but the radios aren't perfect. So the Axis, whenever they want to communicate between them, they have to roll code on the CNC dice to gain communication. Otherwise, they don't. And that brings up the question of what happens when you don't get communication. So that's kind of something we could summarize over here, saying what happens if you don't get the radio. You can't get it to work. What do you do? That's also in the rules about what the consequences are or not of having a radio and how to use it. And the reason that's an element of the detail of the rules is because it's important. Once you've got your guys, your established objective, and you're all meeting and the engines are running, maybe not, they're waiting. You talk about what you want to do, and that's the commander's parameters, and then he issues his commands to his units about what's going to be happening. So they all have an idea of what to expect or what to do. And so the radio would be used to change those things or to inform other vehicles about what's going on, other elements of the game about what's going on. Now, the other thing we've added, and it's funny how we just did this now after 30 some years, is another field down below, which is where we would put the map. Now, the map could be anything. You just have to copy paste your image into here, a bitmap or something of what the field kind of looks like. You could sketch something and save it as a BMP or use a drawing tablet and make some kind of image and put it in here. So that when you print this whole page, when you print the whole page, it'll look like this, and then you can fold it around a piece of cardstock and it'll be nice and strong to withstand use. Over on the right, you can see that we have in the design of the database the images that are used to cut and paste to create these backgrounds. So these guys, you when you go into design mode, you grab them and you copy them, and then as you move through so you copy this in design mode, you go back to form mode, and then you go to where you want to paste that, and then I forgot which one I grabbed. Do it again, grab this guy, copy. All right, and then we'll go back to the form mode, and we'll paste it and see if, yeah, looks like it's going to be pasted right there. So let's just go here, go custom. I think we've always said that 122% seems to be the best. Actually, no, it looks like it's 133. Okay, well anyway, oh, I know what it was. It was 140. All right, so 140% zoom in, then you got your thing, and then you just paste it. Hello, paste. So there's your image right there. And that's basically how it works. So you can, now here's the other thing, you have to, oh, that's an older image. I actually have to replace that. So let's go and do that right now. Let's go over to design, or form design. Which one is that? Grab the third one, which is here, copy this, back to form mode, because you're going to fill it in the field, and you're just going to do paste. Paste, hello, paste. Hello. Paste. All right, so now we got our new layout. And that's it. Then you just keep going like that, and you fill out your little cards, and then you can print them and put them in a little card catalog, and you get quick little scenarios.